Everything you think you know about the pyramids is wrong. For decades, Hollywood movies and history books told us that Hebrew slaves built these ancient wonders under the whip of cruel Egyptian masters. But here's the shocking truth. Modern archaeology has completely debunked this myth. The real story of who built the pyramids will blow your mind. Introduction. What's up, history lovers? Today we're diving deep into one of the biggest misconceptions in ancient history. The idea that slaves built the Great Pyramid of Giza has been repeated so many times that most people accept it as fact. But archaeological evidence tells a completely different story. By the end of this video, you'll never look at the pyramids the same way again. So let's uncover the truth behind these ancient monuments. Section 1. The myth origins. So where did this slave story come from? The myth actually has two main sources. First, the Bible mentions Hebrew slaves in Egypt, though it never specifically connects them to pyramid building. Second, ancient Greek historians like Herodotus wrote about the pyramids centuries after they were built, often mixing facts with rumors and speculation. Hollywood then took these loose historical threads and wove them into compelling narratives. Movies like The Ten Commandments and The Prince of Egypt cemented the image of Hebrew slaves hauling massive stone blocks while Egyptian overseers cracked whips. But here's the problem. These movies were made for entertainment, not historical accuracy. The perpetuation of this myth wasn't just accidental. It served political and cultural purposes throughout history. Colonial powers often used narratives of ancient slavery to justify contemporary practices, while religious interpretations sought to connect biblical stories with iconic monuments. This created a perfect storm of misinformation that persisted well into the modern era. Even respected historians of the 19th and early 20th centuries bought into these misconceptions, lacking the archaeological tools and techniques we have today. Their writings influenced textbooks, documentaries, and popular culture for generations, making the slave narrative seem like established historical fact rather than speculation. Section 2. Archaeological evidence. The real breakthrough came in the 1990s when archaeologist Dr. Zahi Hawass made a game-changing discovery. His team found the tombs and settlements of the actual pyramid builders near Giza. What they uncovered completely shattered the slave narrative. These weren't the graves of oppressed slaves. They were the burial sites of honored workers. The tombs contained pottery, tools, and even small pyramids of their own. Slaves don't get buried with honors and miniature monuments, but it gets even more interesting. The workers' village near the pyramids shows clear evidence of organized labor camps with kitchens, breweries, and medical facilities. Archaeologists found that these workers consumed massive amounts of beef, fish, and bread, a diet that would have been impossible for slaves, but perfectly reasonable for well-fed laborers. The evidence is staggering in its detail. Chemical analysis of worker bones revealed high-protein diets, including premium cuts of cattle, not scraps. These people were eating better than many common citizens of ancient Egypt. Beer rations alone numbered in the thousands of jars, suggesting workers received daily alcohol allowances as a part of their compensation package. Dr. Mark Lenner, another leading Egyptologist, estimates that around 20,000 workers were involved in building the Great Pyramid over 2 decades. These weren't foreign slaves, but Egyptian citizens working in rotating shifts. Recent discoveries have also revealed sophisticated worker housing with individual sleeping quarters, communal eating areas, and even entertainment spaces. Archaeologists found gaming pieces, musical instruments, and artwork created by the workers during their off hours. This paints a picture of a vibrant community, not a prison camp. Section 3. Who really built the pyramids? So if slaves didn't build the pyramids, who did? The answer is actually quite fascinating. The pyramid builders were skilled Egyptian workers, farmers, and craftsmen who worked in organized teams with names like Friends of Khufu and Drunkards of Menkaure. During flood season, when farming was impossible, Egyptian farmers would travel to Giza to work on the pyramids. This provided them with steady income and food rations when their usual work wasn't available. It was essentially ancient Egypt's version of a public works program. The workforce was highly organized into crews of about 2,000 men each, further divided into gangs of 200. These gangs had colorful names and competed with each other, creating a sense of pride and accomplishment in their work. Evidence shows these workers were provided with medical care. Archaeologists found skeletons with healed fractures and signs of surgery, indicating that injured workers received treatment rather than being discarded like slaves would have been. The limestone blocks were actually quarried locally, not dragged from distant lands by suffering masses. Recent discoveries show that the ancient Egyptians used ramps, levers, and ingenious engineering techniques that made the construction far more efficient than previously imagined. The social hierarchy among workers was complex and merit-based. Master craftsmen commanded respect and higher wages, while apprentices learned valuable skills they could use throughout their careers. Stone carvers, architects, engineers, and logistics coordinators all played specialized roles in this massive undertaking. What's particularly remarkable is the evidence of worker mobility and choice. Unlike slaves, these workers could leave the project, and many did rotate in and out based on seasonal farming needs and personal circumstances. Pay records carved into stone show different wage scales for different skills, proving this was professional employment, not forced labor. Section 4. The engineering marvel. Let's talk about the sheer engineering brilliance that went into pyramid construction. The precision required to build these monuments demanded skilled professionals, not reluctant slaves. The Great Pyramid's base is leveled to within just 2.1 centimeters, an accuracy that would be impressive even by modern construction standards. Recent archaeological evidence reveals sophisticated ramp systems that allowed workers to move massive stone blocks efficiently. These weren't simple inclined planes, but complex spiral ramps with designated lanes for loaded and empty sledges, complete with rest areas and supply stations. The quarrying operations alone required master stone workers who could identify the best limestone, cut blocks to precise specifications, and transport them without damage. Copper tools found at the site show advanced metallurgy, while wooden rollers and rope systems demonstrate mechanical engineering knowledge that rivals modern techniques. Even more impressive is the internal chamber construction. The King's Chamber contains granite blocks weighing up to 80 tons, precisely fitted together without mortar. This level of craftsmanship could only be achieved by master builders who took immense pride in their work, not oppressed laborers working under duress. Section 5. Timeline discrepancies. Here's another nail in the coffin of the slave theory. The timeline doesn't match up. The Great Pyramid was built around 2580 to 2560 BCE during the reign of Pharaoh Khufu. Most biblical scholars place the Hebrew presence in Egypt much later, around 1650 to 1200 BCE. That's a gap of nearly 1,000 years. The pyramids were already ancient monuments by the time the Hebrew people were supposedly in Egypt. It would be like claiming that medieval serfs built the Colosseum in Rome. This chronological impossibility has been known to scholars for decades, yet the myth persists in popular culture. The disconnect between archaeological dating and biblical chronology creates an insurmountable problem for the slave narrative that its proponents simply ignore. Furthermore, Egyptian records from the pyramid building period make no mention of Hebrew slaves or any foreign forced labor on these projects. Egyptian bureaucracy was notoriously detailed in its record keeping, documenting everything from grain shipments to worker rations. The absence of any slavery records during the pyramid era is telling. The truth about the pyramids teaches us an important lesson about historical accuracy versus popular mythology. While the slave narrative makes for dramatic storytelling, the real story of skilled Egyptian workers collaborating on humanity's greatest ancient achievement is far more inspiring. These workers weren't nameless, oppressed masses. They were individuals with families, skills, and pride in their work. They left behind a legacy that has amazed humanity for over 4,500 years. So the next time someone repeats the old myth about slaves building the pyramids, you can set the record straight. The Great Pyramid of Giza stands as a testament to human cooperation, ingenuity, and the power of organized skilled labor, not slavery. What other historical myths do you think need debunking? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating history content that challenges what you think you know about the past. If this video opened your eyes to the real story behind the pyramids, smash that like button and share it with someone who still believes the Hollywood version. Ring the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. Until next time, keep questioning what you think you know.